Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in today's first video. So we're doing the second summer 2017 season 1 roundup for today's first video. Later on today we'll have the Gaz Rugby Sunday roundup. That's when we get things like the Arctic Oscillation, North Atlantic Oscillation, solar activity and various other things together to see what they are all showing. That'll be with you sometime over lunch. But this is the second update for the summer in terms of the long-range season models. We did the first update last month in March, pointing very much towards a warm or even a hot summer in some instances. So we'll see what the second update has to say. We've got more long-range models to add to the model roundup this month. So we've got something like 11 long-range models. We'll see what they are all showing in a second. Very on with that, just say about the ads. So there's links to articles on all the pages. If you have a browser widgets and click through links, you're going to help us pay for a website. Thanks very much for doing that. It's also video ads, most pages, which own content. When you watch them and close back up again, it does help to pay for gaswebbies.com. The links to most of these long-range models can be found on the links page, so you can check out most of these, not all of them, but most of them for yourself. And it'll be quite a long video, so you can't watch it all in one go. Don't worry, it will be placed on the summer 2017 updates and forecast page later on today, probably around 5-6 o'clock this evening. There'll be a written post that goes with it as well, so you can come back and watch the video whenever you want, and you can also read the written report. And just say, I hope you enjoy the video and find it interesting and informative. So I'm going to start off with the long-range model from Russia. Just say the first 3 long-range models that we are looking at only cover the early summer period. So they're going from May through to July. They don't cover the full summer period quite for these first 3, but then the next, all of the other models will cover the full summer period. So the Russian model is just covering May through to July. This is probability, temperature probability. We see that for the early summer period, May to July, we're actually coming out close to average with the temperatures. Really, the model is indicating a higher probability of average temperatures. It looks warmer out to the north and west, and near normal actually over and to the east of the UK. So no strong signal for temperatures this summer from a Russian model. In terms of precipitation, again, that's coming out average as well, really. So, not a great signal for this summer from the Russian model. It looks like it's going for below normal precipitation probability, anyway, up to our northeast. And if you follow these green splodges through, so there's a green splodge there, there's a green splodge there, and there's another green splodge there, you could perhaps envisage that the jet stream is coming through rather like that, which would hint, no more than that, but would perhaps hint at a slightly more unsettled spell through the early summer. But really that's reaching to try and find something to talk about. I think essentially there isn't a strong signal yet from the Russian model for the early summer. It looks average in terms of temperature and precipitation. Next model we're going to look at is APEC. This is a collaboration of various Met agencies. The South Korean Met Agency is the leader in this, but I think also the Bureau of Meteorology in Australia and the JMA is part of this as well, and maybe a few others. But essentially it is a Korean model, or South Korean model. I don't think North Korea, I don't think Kim Jong-un has had much influence on this particular model. Hopefully he hasn't. Anyway, so this is 500 millibar heights for the early summer again. Again, this is May through to July. We find that model is going for above average heights down to our south and to our southwest. Below average heights, or near normal heights, really, or nearer normal heights, perhaps be better way of describing it, to the north. I think essentially it's going for fairly westerly type pattern through the early summer period. I always find these charts a little bit difficult to decipher. They seem to have an awful lot of red on them above average heights. Very rarely do they seem to have below average heights. They always look slightly odd to me, but I would assume that the model is going for a displaced Azores high to be to our south and southwest. What about the temperature for early summer then? It is going for a solidly warmer than average summer, not just for the UK, but for most parts of Europe, coming out very significantly warmer than average indeed. So quite a hot summer. Actually, the anomaly is perhaps up to a degree, maybe a bit more, above average in much of northern Europe. So quite a warm, if not hot, summer being seen for many parts of Europe. In terms of precipitation, not a strong signal, but if anything, we might be on the slightly wetter side of things there, especially so to the north. So I think there is probably going to be some low pressure up here. We've probably got a ridge down here, and we might be bringing the jet stream through rather like that. So early summer signals from APEC, perhaps nearer normal with precipitation, but quite warm with the temperatures. JMA is next, so this is the last one that's just covering the May to July period. Now, I did the update for the JMA, the 3 monthly update. I think it was on Thursday, when we broke this down into monthly periods, because there's a lot of information you get from the JMA model. We won't have time to do that for this update, so I'm just going to show you the 3 monthly anomalies, but they're not going to tell us a huge amount. So the 3 monthly 500 millibar height anomaly from May to July shows lots of above average heights, lots of yellow, extending in across the Atlantic and going to our east as well. If we have a look at the temperature anomaly for the next 3 months, that's coming out milder than average. So early summer being seen by the JMA to be warmer than average. Precipitation not quite as good. Northern parts, central northern parts of the country coming out wetter than average. Southern parts coming out a little bit drier than average. The mean wind direction from the JMA model for the next 3 months, looks like it's generally going to be from the east or the northeast. If you follow the black arrows, it's always hard to make out, but black arrows are coming through there, and they're heading into there as well. So it looks like quite an easterly 3 months ahead. But I can tell you that that does kind of disguise a lot of intra-month variability. We broke this down month by month when we did the JMA 3 monthly updates on Thursday, and I can tell you that May and July are looking quite wet. June is looking a little bit drier. All 3 months are signalled to have warmer than average temperatures. So fairly warm, but quite unsettled and changeable 3 months from the JMA. Right, all the rest of the models that you look at are going to be covering the full summer period. So we're going to go over to the Americas next, starting with South America and Brazil. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly from Brazil. Always have to be careful with this one because they do it differently. So on this chart, blue is extrapolating to high pressure, and the brighter colours, sort of oranges, yellows, they are extrapolating to low pressure. On any other 500 millibar height anomaly chart that I know of, that would be the other way round. Blue would be low pressure and red, orange would be high pressure. But this, I don't know why they do it. They tried to catch that, I think. So this one is always a bit different. What the Brazilian model is doing then, it has an area of above average heights out to our west and to our northwest. Then we've got this area of near normal heights, but actually that's probably, or it looks like it would be, a trough within the 500 millibar flow there, sitting across central parts of Europe. So we've probably got low pressure through here, we've probably got a ridge up here, and I would assume we're bringing the winds in from a northeasterly, maybe even easterly type direction. So that could be, it's a very odd chart, it could be quite changeable, especially for the eastern side of the country, interestingly. It could be wetter in the east compared to the north and to the west, where we're closer to this ridge, of course, up here. And temperatures could be a little bit on the cool side as well, actually. So the model is actually going for above average temperatures again for this summer. But then again, most of these long-range models seem to be set up for above average temperatures. So it looks as though, yes, temperatures are coming out above average this summer with the Brazilian model, and no real signal of precipitation, except maybe a bit wetter than average in the North Sea. So not a great deal to work with the Brazilian model there. CANSIP's next. This is the mean sea level pressure anomaly from CANSIP. This is the website tropicaltidbits.com. By the way, find a link to Tropical Tidbits on the links page. So I've been advised that with this, what you have to concentrate on is the colours. So it looks as though, again, this is mean sea level pressure anomaly. It looks as though it's going for some sort of trough, low pressure, to be down to the south, and you come over here to the southeast of us, and some sort of ridge to be up to the north and the northwest of us. I'm told that we should ignore these sort of H's and L's, which are indicating highs and lows, and just work with the colours. So if you take the colours at face value, it's very similar actually to what the Brazilian model is doing, with a ridge up there and then a trough through there. Let's see whether the temperature and precipitation anomalies shed any light. So the temperature anomaly is coming out warmer than average, not just the UK, most parts of Europe again this summer. The temperature, the precipitation anomaly, I should say, is coming out about average as well. And actually over here, where I thought there might be a bit of a trough, it looks like it's a bit drier than average. So very confused signals from these American models so far, Brazilian and Canadian models. No real signal to be working with, other than everything that we looked at so far seems quite well set up for a warmer than average summer. Patel Pang next. Patel has replaced Hugo van der Doel, our good friend Hugo, who retired at the end of last year. So this is based on the same methodology as Hugo van der Doel. It's analog-based forecast using sea surface temperature anomalies. So Patel Pang, as Hugo van der Doel used to do, looked at sea surface temperature anomalies back in March across the world, and then from that he compared to past years with similar sea surface temperature anomalies and created an analog-based forecast going forwards. Mrs. 200 millibar heights, what Patel is seeing is a ridge to be to our west and to our southwest. Not sure quite what's going on here. That looked like could be some sort of trough within the 200 millibar flow. But the ridge from the Azores High is displaced further north than is normal, so it would be throwing ridges up into the country at times. Temperature anomalies from Patel Pang are coming out warmer than average, and in terms of precipitation, we see that it's actually on the drier than average side, especially so to the west and to the southwest of us. And of course, that's because we've got that ridge which is displaced somewhere there from the Azores High. So a fairly dry, settled, quite warm summer from Patel Pang. This is the experimental NASA model, 500 millibar heights again, and what we're seeing with this one, again, very strange looking height anomalies. And this is something that's gone through this update, really. Very, very difficult anomalies to interpret, and money is often something that you find with summer, actually, that the signals from the 500 millibar heights and the mean sea level pressure, they do tend to be, the signals do tend to be at their weakest in the summer, which always makes summer a very difficult season for me to forecast. The other seasons, autumn, winter, spring, they tend to have stronger height anomalies and mean sea level pressure anomalies, but summer is always a more difficult one. Looks like we've got some sort of ridging there and going up to the northwest again, so maybe that could be some sort of trend within these height anomalies that we've been seeing, some sort of ridging out to the north and the west. Temperature anomalies, again, are very, very solidly warmer than average. This is a really strong signal that's going across all models. Again, same as we saw last month, going across all models for a warmer than average summer so far. For precipitation, again, not a huge amount to work on. Really, precipitation is coming out around average. It does look a little bit wetter than average, not much to go on, but it does look a little bit wetter than average for Iceland. It also looks a little bit wetter than average for Scandinavia, so possibly hints that there's low pressure up here, but I don't think there's enough really to be suggesting that. It just looks like, again, what we're seeing across several of these models, with the temperatures on the warm side, if not perhaps hot, really, and precipitation. Generally, the signals are weak, but a little bit on the average to maybe even driving average side. CFS V2 rounds it all off for the Americas for this second summer 2017 seasonal model roundup. Again, not much to work. We've got above average heights across Scandinavia. Otherwise, not a lot else going on. That looks like it could be the Azores high just there, and probably just bringing a westerly flow through the country. So not much to go up with the height anomaly. Temperatures looking like that. Nothing to get excited about. This is perhaps the coolest that we've seen so far with these models. So it looks warmer than average through much of northern, central, eastern Europe. But out in the west of Europe, so Ireland, UK, France, down into Spain and Portugal, the temperature anomaly is average. Possibly for Iberia, hinting at a bit cooler than average. So this is the first model that we've got to that actually isn't going for a solidly and significantly warmer than average summer. This does look a little bit cooler than anything that we've seen so far. It also looks unsettled, interestingly, the CFS. So obviously we've got some sort of ridge up here. We've got these dry than average precipitation anomalies, so there's high pressure up there. But I think essentially the jet stream is coming through many central, northern, and western parts of Europe. So that accounts for it being quite unsettled, actually, quite an unsettled summer to the west and the northwest of Europe. So that's the first one, really, that we've looked at that hints at something different for this summer, with a cooler and wetter and more unsettled type scenario, CFS V2. We're coming towards the end now, just another 3 models to get through. So Beijing Climate Centre is next. This is 500 millibar heights. British Isles is just here. And obviously this one is going solidly for a big ridge from the Azores to be getting thrown up into the northwest of Europe. We've got low pressure up here. The jet stream is to our north as well. We're close to this ridge. You will think that's going to be a fairly warm and dry type summer pattern. Temperature anomalies, here we go. We're back off and running again. Temperature anomalies are coming out warmer than average, so quite a warm, if not potentially quite hot summer being seen by the Beijing Climate Centre. Bit of a north-south split for precipitation. That's good. The jet stream is up there. So Scotland, possibly North Line, a little bit on the wetter side. England and Wales coming out quite significantly drier on average, as is many central parts of Europe. I think that's a decent one. Put that in the decent camp for summer if you want warm and dry weather with that Azores high very, very close to the country. JAMSTEC IOD, again, another warmer than average signal for this summer. Really is a strong signal again from this second update. Precipitation is coming out drier than average also, so I think we can put the JAMSTEC and the Beijing Climate Centre together and suggest that they're both going very significantly warmer and drier than average summer. And then finally, our very own UK Met Office GLOSY 5 model rounds it all off. This is the mean sea level pressure anomaly for the summer, June, July and August. And what we see with this one is that we've got below average pressure out to our west. Interesting, this is a little bit different compared to anything that we've seen so far. Possibly some sort of a ridge up there. This one looks a little bit more changeable and potentially maybe a little bit cooler as well. Let's have a look at the temperature anomalies. Well, that's significantly warmer than average, so no change there. The only model out of all of these models, the only model that hasn't gone for a warmer than average summer is the CFS V2, which is close to average, maybe even hinting at being a bit on the cooler side. Otherwise, it's just been a complete whitewash, really, for warmer than average. Does look a bit more unsettled, though, with precipitation anomalies this summer coming out on the wetter than average side. So a little bit different there with the UK Met. It is warm, but it's a little bit more unsettled too. So that rounds it all off, and well, pick the bones out of that, basically. It looks like it's got a very, very strong signal for a warmer than average summer. As I say, the CFS is the only model out of all of those that is going for average temperatures. Maybe the Russian model too, but remember, that doesn't cover the full summer period. That's just the early summer, May to July. So I'd kind of take that out a little bit, but that one was average with temperatures. And then the CFS is completely covering the full complete summer period, and that one is average as well. Otherwise, it's a strong signal for warmer than average. Precipitation signals are quite weak, and they are a little bit interchangeable. I think most of the models are probably erring on the side of near normal precipitation. We've got a few there that are wetter, and a few that are on the drier side as well, and perhaps on the better range of the models, interestingly. So the CFS is going for quite a wet summer, and so is the UK Met Office. They're on the wetter side, but JAMSTEC and Beijing Climate Centre are on the drier side of things. So a little bit of a split with precipitation, very strong signal for warmer than average temperatures. That's how it's looking for the second season model roundup for the summer of 2017. We'll have a third and final seasonal model roundup at the end of May, and then of course we'll be releasing the GasWeatherViz.com summer 2017 forecast. Before we get to that, though, we do have a few more analogues. Next week our good friend James Ackrill is going to be supplying us with some really interesting information about dry Aprils and what that can mean for the summer. Okay, that's the second summer 2017 seasonal roundup done and dusted. That's this video will be placed later on today on the summer updates and forecast page. There'll be a written post that goes with it as well, just describing everything that I talk about in the video. And later on, over lunch, we're going to be releasing the GasWeatherViz.com Sunday roundup, so come back for that. Tomorrow, of course, we've got our historic video. We're going to be looking at 1980s summers. Going to be doing two parts with this over the next two Bank Holiday Mondays. So part 1 is going to deal with summer 84, 85, and 86. Part 2, which will be the late spring Bank Holiday Monday, that will deal with summers 87, 88, and 89. So, historic video on Bank Holiday Monday will be 1980s summers. We've got the GasWeatherViz summer roundup, Sunday roundup, I should say, coming up over lunch. And this video is going to be placed on the summer updates page later on today. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.